Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about licensing and compliance. Personally for me, this was very overwhelming in the beginning because I had no clue what I was doing. I had no clue how to go about it, what I needed to do, what licensings I needed to get. I went to City Hall. I knew I was having a building in Upland. I went to City Hall. They were no help at all. I went there a couple times. So I'm going to be showing you the licensing and compliance stuff that you need right off the bat. There's a lot of stuff that you can wait until a couple years in to kind of build it up, and I'll show you that. So to set up a business bank account, they're gonna want the name of your entity. So there's two ways to go about it. If you're just working by yourself, you're bootstrapping it, you don't want a business partner, you can use your social security number for that. Eventually, people work their way into incorporating. Now that sounds scary, but believe me, it's a lot easier than you expect. If you have a business partner, then you're gonna wanna incorporate. There's different corporation statuses. We picked S Corp because we were able to prevent double taxation, meaning whatever money the business makes, it gets taxed on. And then the paycheck that you take home, you get taxed on your personal income, just like your regular paycheck at work right now. That's considered double taxation in a way. So to prevent that, we did an S corporation. An S Corp basically will tax just the shareholders. So the business doesn't get taxed as far as its profits. The profits go onto the shareholders and the shareholders get taxed for that. So you only get taxed one time. And that's why we picked an S corporation. That might not work out for you. There's a couple other like C Corp and partnerships and things like that. Look into that. That might work out for you, but for us, it was S Corp that worked for us. We're in Southern California, so some laws that apply here may not apply to you. Okay, so you might be asking, well, if I need to incorporate, that's a crazy thing, right? But it's not. So what we did was we hired a company called the Company Corporation. And what they do is basically grab all the stuff that you need to incorporate and they basically put it in a booklet for you. And they do a lot of stuff for you. They don't do everything, they don't fill out all the paperwork per se, but they give you all the forms to fill out, so it's pretty cookie cutter and it makes it a whole lot easier. It includes things like the entity of your business, the corporation name and type, like we picked the S Corporation, the EIN number, which is your tax ID number. Now, if you're incorporated, the tax ID number is kind of like a social security number for your business. So if you have a partner, you're actually going to be almost married on paper per se, because he is going to have that EIN number, you're going to have that EIN number, the business is going to have the EIN number. It's a partnership. So that's why picking a partner is very important, like we talked about. They're going to give you papers on Secretary of State. The Secretary of State is kind of like a public document of what kind of business you have. You have to fill that out every year. It's pretty cheap. I think it's 35 bucks. They actually give you some stock papers to fill out. That was really cool for me because I had never done anything like that. The bylaws and the franchise tax board. This right here is an automatic $800 a year. It doesn't matter what kind of business you have. It's always a minimum of $800 a year. For your first couple years, you'll probably only pay the $800, and then they base it off your gross later on. So this is the booklet here that we got from that company. It keeps everything together. It's really pretty cool. They give you all kinds of official documents and forms and stuff. The bylaws, article of incorporation, the stocks, these are pretty cool. These are just samples, but the real ones are locked away. It's all official corporation stuff. Most of the stuff doesn't really, a lot of the stuff I don't fill out. We're not big enough for this kind of stuff. We have federal documentation in here. Franchise Taxation Board. They also give you a couple other things like cool little stamps, an embosser, things like that. It's pretty neat. You can do all this yourself. You can. For me, one, I didn't have time for it because I was still working full time and doing this stuff on the side. Two, I had no clue what I was doing. And three, to have a book like that with everything together look very professional and I can just tuck it away for when I need it. Okay, another thing that the bank is gonna need from you is the address. Now, you might not have your building yet. You can use your personal address, that's fine. Now, if you have a partner, they're gonna want your partner on the account too. There has to be a primary and a secondary on there. The $800 is basically what we're talking about with the Franchise Taxation Board. Now, once you have your building, things that you're gonna need before they're gonna sign the lease over to you, they're gonna want shopkeeper's insurance within the first month of operation, which is basically like an umbrella insurance. And it's a normal thing, it's required for every shop and pretty much every business if you're getting a commercial building. And don't forget about the zoning, by the way, we talked about that earlier. This can be a little bit challenging because you're a new business, you're considered high risk. We found a broker that did the research for us on that. Just like anything, they're gonna want first and last month's rent. They're gonna want your city business license, so the license you're doing through the city, and your BAR, Bureau of Automotive Repair license. This was really easy to get. by the way. You just apply for it and they pretty much give it to you. All right, guys, like I said, these are the most important things right off the bat. Once you have your building and you're ready to collect some money for your business account. There's another video after this, video number 2, which will go over some other licensing that you'll eventually need to get. Guys, stay enthusiastic, keep going. This stuff is all laid out for you. Just take one bite of it out of a time, and before you know it, you're gonna have all this stuff ready to go.